I've written 11 books, and each time I think to myself, they're going to find out now. I've run a game on everybody, and they're going to find me out. Maya Angelou, winner of 5 Grammy Awards, a few Tony nominations, and has served on not just one, but 2 presidential committees. Impostor syndrome is normal, everyone. Even the most successful people on earth have had to overcome it. And the key here is not just to remove it, but not let it get in the way of our success, especially in the context of presentations and effective communication, which is exactly why on this week's episode of MasterTalk, I'm going to teach you the art of how to overcome imposter syndrome for any presentation that you take on. So let's get into it. Number 1, the belief system in our ideas needs to be stronger than the insecurities that they come with. Even the most successful people on earth struggle with imposter syndrome. So how do we overcome it so that we can take action on our ideas? I'm a great example of this too. I started MasterTalk in my mother's basement when I was 22 years old. Who in the world was I to share information on communication and public speaking? I didn't have a Ph.D. in communication. I didn't have the right credentials. But when we figure out the message and why it matters for people, that is how we overcome the fear. So when we compare our fear, imposter syndrome, the worries, the challenges around communication, and sharing those ideas with the message at hand, why we want to share it, why is it important for the people we want to serve, that is how our message beats out the fear. So for you, the best way to figure out how to make your message work is to simply ask yourself, why is that impact important? So write a love letter to the person you want to serve. Once you figure out who that person is, nothing will get in your way, including imposter syndrome. Number 2, build a close-knit group of friends who remind you on a consistent basis that you're meant to do great things. Peter Crone, a well-known mind architect, always says that if you squeeze an orange long enough, you'll get orange juice. But if you squeeze a human being long enough, you'll find out everything that they're still holding on to. And I thought that quote was so fascinating, especially in the work that I do, really. Because when I started MasterTalk, I had so many insecurities and so many people saying that,
this video idea on public speaking isn't going to work.
But it was my small group of friends who supported me, who said, actually, Brandon, your videos aren't that bad. The information is great, but the production can be better. Just keep posting every week. So I did. And especially at the beginning of our ideas, this is when we're at the most fragile. This is when we have the most insecurities. So I encourage all of you to build that group of friends who remind you how great you are and to keep moving forward with the ideas for the things that you really want to do in life. And that's really the key if you want to be successful. Find those groups of people and you'll find your way out of imposter syndrome in no time. And finally, number 3, understand what expertise really means. Expertise isn't about having a Ph.D. degree. It's not about the credentials that you have. And here's an easy analogy to prove it. Let's say I came to your favorite city, whether it's Los Angeles or London or New York, and I asked you for directions. Hey, I'm in the city for a few days. What should I do? You might respond with a few restaurant recommendations, places to go to and visit, and overall attraction so that I have a good time. In the same way, if you came to my home city, Montreal, you said, Brendan, I'm in the city. What should I do for fun? I'll probably do the same. But wait a second. None of us are tour guides, except for the tour guides who are watching this. I apologize. But for most of us, we aren't tour guides. We're not experts of our own city. My dad isn't the mayor of Montreal. Yet, we share information about what you should do in our city, something we have no expertise in. So what is it about information that makes us want to share it versus not share it? And here is the punchline. When we understand that expertise simply means that we are one chapter ahead of the next person in that subject, we are qualified to teach it. So in the same way, if I came to Los Angeles and somebody gave me advice, that person can because they've lived in the city longer than I have. So expertise does not mean you have all the answers. It just means that you have more answers than the people who are seeking for your help. And when you think of it in that way, imposter syndrome just melts away because you'll start by serving the people that you're comfortable with. Start there and your expertise will build up. If Maya Angelou, one of the best writers of our generation, had imposter syndrome, there's something powerful for us to take away, which is this. It's normal for all of us to have it. And that's why the difference between those who are successful, especially in presentations, and those who aren't, are the people who make the decision to push through, who make the decision to say, despite my fear, I'm going to start coaching people on communication. I'm going to do the thing, even if it means starting with people who are younger than me, and then people who are my age, and then people who are older. Take those necessary steps. And if you do it, I believe that you'll be able to overcome imposter syndrome and everything else. As always, if you enjoyed this week's episode of MasterTalk, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well to see more videos like this. And if you know one person, I'm pretty sure you do, that struggles with imposter syndrome, send them this video so that they'll be one step closer to jumping into their greatness. Take care, everyone.